So the RCMP are considering going on strike in Canada. That's great news. Um, that's the kind of thing that leftists get excited about, because it's when the cops start going on strike that we can start talking about real, revolutionary aims. The cops are the line of defense, the first line of defense. When that starts breaking down, leftists get excited. Cops are workers too, and instilling a concept of class consciousness as opposed to, class harmony into the force, including fostering a tendency towards work stoppages, is an absolutely essential process for the left. The cops have to be willing to go on strike. That's like if we can't get over that, we can never have any real serious concept of, of communism. There's no way to get there without breaking down the police as the line of defense. Because the police are not there to protect us, they're there to protect the rich, right? So anything that gets them thinking more in terms of labor conflict and less in terms of a monopoly on force is a net positive. And it's not just the cops that we need to have a shift in mindset with regarding this. Okay, it's activists. So long as we have activists that think that police are there to protect the community, we can never get anywhere. Okay? This isn't a question of being a thug or being savage or something like that. It's basic left-wing politics, and it's basic history. Anybody that tries to tell you that police are there to protect the community is simply ignorant of the history. Why do we have police? You might want to actually educate yourself on this topic. You might be surprised. The reason we have police was to stop strikes. Police are fairly recent. If you go back in history, there was no such thing as a police force. In fact, if you think about it for a second, people walking around with guns enforcing laws, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? Why would the community want that? And in fact, the community didn't create that. It was created by the elites at the upper class of society to force people to go to work. That's why we have police. Because workers were on strike, they wanted higher pay, they wanted working conditions, and the government, in conclusion with capital, got together, took a small section of them, gave them special treatment, so long as they would beat the shit out of the rest of them. That's what the police are. This whole narrative about how most police are good people, or they're there to uphold the laws that we democratically enacted. This is just a complete invention. This has no historical basis. It has no grounding in fact. It's a total fantasy. The police are there to protect property and enforce labor laws. When I say enforce labor laws, what I mean is, make people go to work, to stop workers from striking. You cannot exist on the left and take these perspectives of the police that you hear in a lot of left-wing quote-unquote left-wing protests nowadays, including the Black Lives Matter protest. And when you hear it, you just want to go bash your head against the wall. Because not only are they not threatening anything, they're demonstrating that the systems of control have been effective. Okay, every time you hear a Black Lives Matter protester indicate that they know that it's just a few bad apples, most police officers are good, just a few bad apples, they need better training. Every time you hear somebody talk like that, what they're doing is they're demonstrating that the system of control is working. Okay, because that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to have you think that they're working in your interests. In fact, they go through racial profiling as a part of their training. They're taught to be racist as a part of the way the system functions. And their goal is to protect property and send people to work. That's their goal. It's not to enforce laws, it's not to uphold law and order or any of this kind of stuff. There is no historical basis for this. It's completely invented. Totally made up out of nothing. It's a Walt Disney reality. So when we see something like that on the left, we start to get a little bit excited. Okay. And when you put it in the context of what's happening right now, it's especially exciting because about the only thing that I can think of that might actually succeed in reducing racial profiling would be rank and file police officers threatening or implementing a work stoppage over it. That is cops saying, we're not going to do this anymore. Okay, the only way anything in the police force will ever change is if they stop just taking orders. Okay, that's the culture that needs to be modified. Okay, we have a police culture where people just take orders. And when you have a culture that's based on, levels of hierarchical organization, where you have bosses that tell rank and file workers what to do, and they're expected to just do it, that's when you have systems like this. You have to get people on the front lines thinking for themselves, rejecting authority. And until we get to a point where we're able to reject, or where the cops are able to reject their authority, we will never solve any of these problems. They will continue taking orders, and what that means is profiling black people and shooting them for no good reason, because that's what their job is. And if you want to get involved in this and actually make a difference, what you should be doing, forget about stopping traffic, forget about any of that kind of stuff. That will make no difference. What you want to do is you want to send your organizers into the police force to foster disobedience amongst them. That's the only thing that will ever stop this. So get to it.